Governor Romney, how do you come down on this question?
It's good, but it's not that good.
No, it's actually better than that, Ned. It's even better than that.
There are a lot of features that are very attractive about a fair tax. Getting rid of the IRS is something we'd all love, but the truth is we're going to have to pay taxes. We are the largest economy in the world. We've added, during the time Europe added 3 million jobs, we've added about 50 million jobs in this country. And so completely throwing out our tax system and coming up with an entirely new one is something we have to do very, very carefully. The President's Commission on Taxation, Tax Reform, looked at this and said, not a good idea. Some of the reasons...
They didn't look at that,
let me complete. Some of the reasons are the fair tax, for instance, charges a 23% tax plus state sales tax on a new home when you purchase a new home. But if you buy an old home, there's no tax. Think what that might do to the construction industry. We need to thoroughly take it apart before we make a change of that nature. That's why my view is get rid of the tax on savings and let middle-income people save their money tax-free.
Mayor Giuliani, which one of the three options are you for? National sales.
Eliminate the death tax. That should be eliminated immediately. It makes no sense at all. In 2010, the death tax is going to go to 0%. And then it's going to go to 55% in 2011. You do not want to be on a respirator in 2010.
But Governor, excuse me for a second. Governor Huckabee is...
And then I would say the most sensible thing to do is to simplify the tax code, reduce taxes, keep taxes low. I think the flat tax and the fair tax are both very intriguing. And if we were starting off at the very beginning with taxation, first argument I would make is let's not have any taxes. The second argument I'd make is the fair tax or the flat tax would probably be a better way to go.
But you're not for the fair tax now, correct?
It would be too complex to get there. And somebody would have to show me how we're going to make that transition. And also the thought that there wouldn't be an IRS with the fair tax. Well, who is going to administer the sales tax? And who's going to administer the people that are exempt from the sales tax? And who is going to administer what items might be exempt from the sales? Maybe food would be exempt from a sales tax.
Senator McCain, how do you come down on this question?
I believe that we've got to simplify the tax code, but one of the first areas we've got to go after is the alternate minimum tax, which is going to eat into 20 million American families if we don't eliminate it, and very quickly. Look, when we found out that Congress could not close a single military base when we had a huge number of them, we passed a law where we appointed a commission, and they said we would close so many bases, and Congress votes up or down. I would find Alan Greenspan. I'd say, give us your recommendations. We'll pass a law, and we will vote on Alan Greenspan and his commission's recommendations, yes or no, up or down. That's the way you're going to simplify the tax code, which now requires $140 billion for American families' income to prepare their tax returns.
Congressman Tancredo?
The reason why we absolutely need to go to something like a fair tax, and I am a co-sponsor, and by the way, if you don't understand how it would work, I would suggest to you that you read Neil Bortz's book and John Linder's. It's a perfect explanation of how it works. Now, then you should know how it works. And the fact is that, but the most important reason to move from an income tax to something like a fair tax, to specifically a fair tax, is because an income tax is designed to manipulate behavior.
George.
It gives the government the power to manipulate your behavior. I reward you for the things I want you to do by giving you a tax cut. I penalize you for the things I don't want you to do by raising your taxes.
Okay.
That's too much power for the federal government. It is always going to be overreaching power.
I've got to move on. Senator Brownback, you get 30 seconds on this, and then we move on.
I think we need to move towards an optional flat tax. I think we need to go to flat tax. And let me say why here. We've got a problem with the current tax code, and we've tried to take it out, and every time you try to take it out, everybody comes to defend it that's got something in it. You can put an optional flat tax in the tax code and let people choose, and it will create economic growth. That's why 16 countries have already gone to a flat tax. It creates growth. Growth is the key for us in this economy for us to get things moving forward.
But you're against the fair tax. I've got to move on now. Sorry, Governor. I've got to move on right now. We've got an email question coming in, and I'm going to ask every one of you to come in on this for 30 seconds. It comes from Adam Waldron from Pocatello, Idaho. And it starts like this. I have made several mistakes that have been defining moments in my life because of what I learned or was forced to realize. What is a defining mistake of your life and why? Congressman Hunter.
Because what I learned was forced to realize. Think of a of a major mistake, contemplating running as a Democrat in my very first.
Congressman Paul. Congressman Paul?
The only mistake I made and continue to make is I don't speak forcefully enough for the cause of liberty and the cause of the Constitution. I'm working on it all the time.
Governor Huckabee?
I think probably the greatest mistake I made was not taking good care of my own personal health for the first half of my life. And that's been one of the most transformational things I've done, and I just wish I'd started much earlier.
Probably from a political standpoint and a personal standpoint, the greatest mistake was when I first ran for office, being deeply opposed to abortion, but saying I'd support the current law, which was pro-choice and effectively a pro-choice position. That was just wrong. And when I became a governor and faced a life and death decision as a governor, I came down on the side of life. That was a mistake before that.
To have a description of my mistakes in 30 seconds?
There you go.
Defining mistake, Mayor. Just one defining mistake.
George, your father is a priest.
That's true.
I'm going to explain it to your father, not to you, okay?
Fair enough. I guess that's a pass, Senator McCain.
You want my list? I've got it.